All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about CD Projekt Red again. Now, we're talking about CD Projekt Red because the CEO has gotten himself in hot water yet again. Michael Nowakowski, I believe his name is in a little bit of trouble, quite frankly, because he is lying to people again. And this is something that he has done before. We talked about him when he tried to call Endymion a liar, and we debunked every single one of his statements in his comment against Endymion, calling Endymion a grifter, liar, whatever. We debunked every single statement that the man has made. And now he is out here lying about the fact that supposedly he does not know who Sweet Baby Inc. is, at least not until supposedly recently anyway, that he figured out who they were. But this entire time, he has no idea who they are. And that either makes you completely fucking retarded and tone deaf, or it makes you a liar. One of the two.
Development company. What does that mean? I'm really interested. We were instead found by kind of, 4chan and the worst people on Twitter.
There is no way in hell, ladies and gentlemen, that you are in the gaming industry for the last 2 years and you do not know who Sweet Baby Inc. is. There is no way. You cannot be in this industry and not know, at the very minimum, about the consultancy firm that has started Gamergate 2.0. There is no way that you could be in the industry and not even know what Gamergate 2.0 was. There's no way. Every single developer out there knew exactly what Gamergate 2 was, and they know that Sweet Baby Inc. was at the center of it. And apparently this CEO is trying to convince you that he had no idea who SBI was, even though he himself has hired a person at his studio by the name of Mary Kenny, who has worked with SBI in the past. So let's get into this article, guys, from Fandom Polls. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So the headline reads, Gamers torch CD Projekt Red CEO for hiring woke activists as he denies company works with Sweet Baby Inc. In a post to X at the end of last week, Nowakowski touted that the number of employees still with the company that worked on The Witcher Hunt 3 Wild Hunt. The Witcher 3 turns 10 this May, and around 100 of its developers are working with us to this day on our new projects, including The Witcher 4. Some are actually veterans for The Witcher 2 and The Witcher 1, including my esteemed co-CEO, Adam Badowski, who has been with the series since inception back in 2002. I want to make it very clear, the reason why he is making this tweet right now is to try to garner goodwill for Witcher 4, knowing that a lot of people are not happy with the direction the game is taking. That's the only reason why he's bringing this up. He is trying to say, oh, look, we still have 100 people from Witcher 3 that are working on Witcher 4. That means it's going to be great, right, guys? That means it's going to be just as good as the game that you actually like. So look forward to Witcher 4. That is what he's doing here. And the funny thing about all of this is that he's saying this because Endymion called out the fact that many people has left CD Projekt Red. And this CEO tried to say, oh, that's not true. We've had the lowest turnover in years, trying to make it seem as if that meant that nobody was leaving. But obviously saying you have the lowest turnover doesn't mean that people aren't leaving. That just means that people are leaving less, but people have in fact left, which is ridiculous. Again, it's a play on words that he tries to pass off as fact. But the funny thing is, if you look at the numbers, there was over 200 developers that worked on Witcher 3. To say that you have 100 developers left over from Witcher 3, that means half of your team left, bro. Half of your team left from Witcher 3. That is the truth. That is the real number. You had half of your team leave from Witcher 3, and they went and they made their own studios. 2 studios spawned from CD Projekt Red. So yes, what Endymion said was in fact true. Many people left in droves, and they abandoned your company. Half of them. Half of your team abandoned your company. So anyway, it says one person replied, I love how they keep pushing the word that they still have staff who worked on previous Witcher titles. Like we don't know that they lost the prime meat from the bone, which is exactly what was being said before when we said that half of the team left. So it's true. They did lose prime meat from the bone. He added, they don't want to openly tell you about those Sweet Baby Inc. employees working for them now. Nowakowski responded, we are not working and never worked with Sweet Baby. Never even heard of them until recently, to be honest. Also, we have not lost prime meat, as you put it. Number 1, you're lying. Number 2, you have, okay? Because again, you may not have hired specifically Sweet Baby Inc. employees, but you 100% have hired someone who has worked with SBI in the past on a project. That project would be Wolverine from Insomniac Games. Mary Kenny was a narrative director over at Insomniac Games, and she was working on Wolverine, and she defended SBI back in March and gave everybody a history lesson as to the amount of work that she did with SBI and why they're such fantastic people, because she worked with them directly. So don't sit here and try to pretend as if you haven't hired people who don't have direct link to SBI to some extent and have worked with them in the past, because you have. You did, and she's still there. Then it says, as previously detailed by YouTubers Legacy Kill HD, CD Projekt Red has lost a lot of its top talent, including at least 11 directors and department leads who exited the company by 2021 following the release of Cyberpunk 2077. That talent included studio head and executive producer John Mames, The Witcher 3 director Conrad, The Witcher 3 quest director Matwit, the cinematic director Powell, the head of producer, etc., etc. They lost a lot of people. Okay, just quite frankly, they lost a lot of people. Without having to name everybody by name, they lost a lot of people from Witcher and a lot of people from Cyberpunk. Essentially, what happened was, after the bomb that was Cyberpunk, I'm sure that there was a lot of creative, arguments happening over at CD Projekt Red, and people were not happy at the direction that the company was being taken, and they decided to abandon ship. They lost over 50% of the developers that they had on Witcher 3. Some of those people worked on Cyberpunk as well. So it's very clear that CD Projekt Red has an employment problem, where a lot of people say, you know what, screw this, I'm out. Which is why they probably dedicated themselves recently over the last few years to DEI. Because the more you dedicate yourself to DEI, the more you're going to have fanatic employees that are going to stick with the long term, so long as you keep virtue signaling to them. It doesn't matter how much you screw them. All you got to do is just convince them that you care about their social cause. And that's why they picked up DEI recently. Furthermore, while Nabokowski claims his company is not working with SBI, it did in fact hire one of the biggest Sweet Baby Inc. defenders in Mary Kenny after she worked with SBI during her time at Insomniac on Marvel Spider-Man's 2. Kenny is on record telling DualShockers that every lever must be pulled to promote the disordered LGBTQ agenda. She said there are so many LGBTQ developers, and we want what players want, to design experiences that tell the player we're here, we're important, and we belong. In order to obtain this, she declared, we need to pull every lever we have, characters, community support, mechanics, to make it so. The company also hired Cian Maher to be its franchise and lore designer, even after Maher made it clear in 2020 he wanted to punch gamers. So again, there are a lot of questionable people that have been hired by CD Projekt Red over the last few years, and this is why nobody believes the CEO when he says that he's never heard of SBI. Let's be very clear. There's no way a CEO of the gaming industry, no matter what studio you work in, has not heard of SBI at any given time. You got people from other countries who have heard of YouTubers, right? Angry, supposed rage-baiting YouTubers. You got people who've heard of Asmongold, Critical Drinker, all these YouTubers that have big names, right? There's no way in hell that these studio heads have not heard of SBI, or at least, at the very minimum, the drama involving SBI. It is a big moment in gaming in 2024, and it's carrying over into 2025. And to try to claim ignorance, again, either makes you look really stupid and completely out of touch with the culture that you're selling your product in, or quite frankly, you are a liar. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it if you could like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.